تو که آتش کدیش و محبت بودی چه بلا رفت که خاک سر خار شدی تو به سر نغمه زبان بودی و دل ها همه گوش چه شنفتی که زبان بستی و خودگوش شدی خلق را گرچه وفا نیست ولیکن گل من نگمان دار که رفتی و فراموش شدی
Good evening, everybody. How lovely to see you. For those joining right now, and for those joining later, I hope you're all very well today. This is my last evening at home because as of tomorrow, I'm going to go out every single night because finally the bars and restaurants, hi Zahia, the bars and restaurants in Vienna are opening so we can go out again until 10 o'clock in the evening only, but we can still go out, which is a great thing, I think. You have to be able to, you have to either be vaccinated against COVID or you have to have had a negative test that day or within the last 48 hours or something to be able to go into a bar or restaurant, hotels too, but you can finally do it. So whatever this has been, the martyrium of the last almost year, we've been in lockdown on and off since October, more on than off actually. We only had 2 weeks over Christmas where we weren't in lockdown. Then 2 weeks ago, the shops opened and now finally the bars and restaurants are opening as well and people are getting vaccinated. So it's all looking a lot more positive. We're still going to be reading for you though. And I wanted to make sure you know before I read and not wait to the end because I know some of you don't stay the whole time. On Saturday evening, that's this coming Saturday, and be careful, not at 9 p.m, but at 8 p.m. Central European time. Saman is finally back on live with us, and also we're going to have the absolute pleasure of having Kamyab Sadiri play the piano on a beautiful, beautiful black grand piano, and you can go into Vienna Theatre Project and you can go into the special event and see the photos of where we will be reading because we will be having finally our 1 year anniversary celebration reading at the Palais Hansen-Kempinski in no less than the presidential suite, which is really, really, it's beautiful. It's really lovely. It's all sort of whites and creams and then blacks. It's really, really beautiful suite. So we'll be reading in and having our 1 year anniversary in the presidential suite at the Palais Hansen-Kempinski. And we are going to again be beautifully dressed, and we're deeply grateful by the wonderful haute couture fashion designer Maurizio Giambra, who is making, or is not making the dresses already exist, who is lending us 2 very beautiful dresses for the evening that Saman and I can get dressed in. And again, Kamyab is going to be playing his own music that you just heard actually, on the grand piano, and singing as well. So it's going to be a very special and very beautiful evening this coming Saturday, live and online at the Palais Hansen Kempinski at 8 p.m. in the evening, Central European time. Do join us. And on Vienna Theatre Project page, on the events page, on the 1001 Nights group page. We will also be on Instagram on Vienna Theatre Project. We look very much forward to welcoming you there. There'll be some goodies to give away, some little treats, as it is our anniversary, and we're very much looking forward to sending somebody all over the world our treats. Last time we sent a treat, I think it was one was to Denmark, and the other one was to Ghana, I think. So last time we sent our little treats to Denmark and to Ghana. This time it'll be really exciting to see where we'll be able to send our little treats to. So, without further ado, I am going to start reading this evening, and I hope you are all sitting very, very comfortably. I don't know how much I'm going to be reading. I did have a voiceover rehearsal for 3 hours before this. Now I can talk, but seriously, when you've done 3 hours of non-stop, live, loud reading, rehearsing text, and then you come home, have something quick to eat, and then you're reading again, the voice gets a little bit tired. But anyway, there we go. I shall start by having a sip of my coffee, and then we will get going. For those of you who do not know, my name is Joanna Godwin-Seidl. I am a director and actress, and I run Vienna Theatre Project, and you are listening to the live and online readings of 1001 Nights. Now, and remember, we are in the story of Ali, and Ali's father was dying, and as he was dying, he reminded Ali that he was going to give him all of his money, all of his houses, all the jewels. Ali was going to inherit the lot. The only thing his father asked Ali is that he be humble, that he look after the money and not squander it, that he look after his wife who was pregnant with his child, and that he be a good Muslim. And Ali promised him he would do that, and then his father died, and Ali did not do that. And he has squandered away everything. So much so he fell in with, unfortunately, a bit of a bad lot. And he lost all the money. Then he lost all his furniture and jewels and goods in his houses. Then he lost the houses. Now he has moved into a rented room with his wife and child, and they have no money and no food on the table. So this is the continuation of that story. And his wife has gone out looking for help. Now, when it was the 427th night, Scheherazade said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that the wife of Ali the Cairene, seeing her husband return empty-handed, went forth to beg of the neighbours the wherewithal to keep themselves alive, and repaired to a woman who she had known in former days. When she came into her, and she saw her case, she rose, and receiving her kindly, wept and said, 'What hath befallen thee?' So she told her all that her husband had done, and the other replied, 'Well, come, and welcome, and fair cheer. Whatever thou needest, seek it of me without price.' Quoth she, 'Allah requite thee abundantly.' Then her friend gave her as much provision as would suffice herself and her family for a whole month, and she took it and returned to her lodging. When her husband saw her, he wept and asked, "Whence hadst thou that?" And she answered, "I got it of such a woman, for, when I told her what had befallen us, she failed me not in aught, but said, 'Seek of me all thou needest.'" Whereupon her husband rejoined, "Since thou hast this much, I will betake myself to a place I have in my mind. Peradventure, Allah Almighty will bring us relief." With these words, he took leave of her and kissed his children and went out, not knowing whither he would go. And he continued walking on till he came to Bulak, where he saw a ship about to sail for Damietta. Here he met a man, between whom he and his father there had been friendship, and he saluted him and said to him, "Whither now?" Replied Ali, "To Damietta. I have friends there, whom I would inquire after and visit them, and then return." The man took him home and treated him honourably. Then furnishing him with vivers for the voyage, and giving him some gold pieces, embarked him on board the vessel bound for Damietta. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. I'm sorry, that went totally down the wrong pipe. Oh, well, that was good, wasn't it? Excuse me, everybody. I just swallowed completely down the wrong pipe. The man took him home and treated him honourably. Then furnishing him with vivers for the voyage and giving him some gold pieces, embarked him on board the vessel bound for Damietta. When they reached it, Ali landed, not knowing whither to go. But as he was walking along, a merchant saw him and had pity on him and carried him to his house. Here he abode a while, after which he said in himself, "How long this sojourning in other folks' homes?" Then he left the merchant's place and walked to the wharf where, after inquiry, he found a ship ready to sail to Syria. His hospitable host provided him with provision and embarked him on the ship. It set sail, and Ali reached in due season the Syrian shores, where he disembarked and journeyed till he entered Damascus. As he walked about the great thoroughfare, behold, a kindly man saw him and took him to his house, where he tarried for a time still. One day, going abroad, he saw a caravan about to start for Baghdad, and bethought himself to journey thither with it. Thereupon he returned to his host, and taking leave of him, set out with the kafilah. Now Allah, extolled and exalted be He, inclined to him the heart of one of the merchants, so that he took him with him, and Ali ate and drank with him, till they came within 1 day's journey of Baghdad. Here, however, a company of highwaymen fell upon the caravan and took all they had, but few of the merchants escaped. These made each for a separate place of refuge. But as for Ali the Cairene, he fared to Baghdad, where he arrived at sundown, as the gatekeepers were about to shut the gates, and said to them, "Let me in with you." They admitted him and asked him, "Whence come, and whither wending?" And he answered, "I am a man from Cairo city, and have with me mules laden with merchandise, and slaves, and servants. I forewent them to look at me out a place wherein to deposit my goods, but as I rode along on my she-mule, there fell upon me a company of banditti, who took my mule and gear, nor did I escape from them but at my last gasp. The gate guard entreated him honourably, and bade him be of good cheer, saying, "Will abide with us this night, and in the morning we will look thee out a place befitting thee." Then he sought in his breast pocket, and, finding a dinar of those given to him by the merchant at Bulak, handed it to one of the gatekeepers, saying, "Take this and change it, and bring me something to eat." The man took it and went to the market, where he changed it and brought Ali bread and cooked meat. So he ate, and he and the guards, and he lay the night with them. Now on the morrow one of the warders carried him to a certain of the merchants of Baghdad, to whom he told the same story, and he believed him, deeming that he was a merchant and had with him loads of merchandise. Then he took him up into his shop and entreated him with honour. Moreover, he sent to his house for a splendid suit of his own apparel for him, and carried him to the hammam. So, quoth Ali of Cairo, I went with him to the bath, and when he came out, he took me and brought me to his house, where he set the morning meal before us, and we ate and made merry. Then said he to one of his slaves, "Ho, Masood, take this thy lord, show him the 2 houses standing in such a place, and whichever pleaseth him, give him the key of it, and come back." So I went with the slave till we came to a street road where stood 3 houses side by side, newly built and yet shut up. He opened the first, and I looked at it. "Of which shall I give thee the key? To whom doth the big house belong?" "To us." "Open it, that I may view it." "Thou hast no business there." "Wherefore?" "Because it is haunted, and none nighteth there, but in the morning he is dead man. Nor do we use to open the door when removing the corpse, but mount the terrace roof of one of the other 2 houses and take it up thence. For this reason my master hath abandoned the house, and saith, I will never again give it to any one." "Open it," I cried, "that I may view it." And I said in my mind, "This is what I seek. I will pass the night there, and in the morning be a dead man, and be at peace from this my case." So he opened it, and I entered, and found it a splendid house, without its like. And I said to the slave, "I will have none other than this house. Give me its key." But he rejoined, "I will not give thee this key till I consult my master." And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day, and ceased saying her permitted say. Now, when it was the 428th night, and excuse me, I'm just going to get a tissue. See, Saman always has tissues at the ready. And I joked with her, "What do you have tissues for? That's so funny." And 2 times now I have had a little bit of a choking episode, I don't know why. And both times I would have needed tissues and didn't have them with me, so Saman is always right. Now, when it was the 428th night, "Hi, Dunya," Scheherazade said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king." But the slave rejoined, "I will not give thee its key till I consult my master," and going to him, reported, "The Egyptian trader saith, I will lodge in none but the big house." Now, when the merchant heard this, he rose, and coming to Ali, spake thus to him, "O my lord, thou hast no need of this house." But he answered, "I will lodge in none other than this, for I care naught for this silly saying." Quoth the other, "Write me an acknowledgement of that. If aught happen to thee, I am not responsible." Quoth Ali, "So be it." Whereupon the merchant fetched an assessor from the Kazi's court, and taking the prescribed acknowledgement, delivered to him the key wherewith he entered the house. The merchant sent him bedding by a slave, who spread it for him on the built bench behind the door and walked away. Presently Ali went about, and seeing in the inner court a well of a bucket, let this down and drew water, wherewith he made the lesser ablution and prayed the obligatory prayer. Then he sat a while till the slave brought him the evening meal from his master's house, together with a lamp, a candle and candlestick, a basin and ewer, and a gugglet, after which he left him and returned home. Ali lighted the candle, supped at his ease, and prayed the night prayer. And presently he said to himself, "Come, take the bedding and go upstairs and sleep there. 'Twill be better than here." So he took the bed and carried it upstairs, where he found a splendid saloon with gilded ceiling and floor and walls cased with coloured marbles. He spread his bed there, and sitting down, began to recite somewhat of the sublime Quran, when, ere he was ware, he heard one calling to him and asking him, "O Ali, O son of Hassan, say me, shall I send thee down the gold?" And he answered, "Oh, where be the gold that thou hast to send?" But hardly had he spoken, when gold pieces began to rain down on him, like stones from a catapult, nor ceased till the saloon was full. Then after the golden shower said the voice, "Set me 3, that I may go my way, for I have made an end of my service, and delivered unto thee that which entrusted to me for thee." Quoth Ali, "I adjure thee by Allah the Almighty to tell me the cause of this gold rain." Replied the voice, "'Tis a treasure that was talisman to thee of old time, and to every one who entered the house we used to come and say, 'O Ali, son of Hassan, shall we send thee down the gold?' Whereat he would be affrighted and cry out, and we would come down to him and break his neck and go away. But when thou camest, and we accosted thee by thy name and that of thy father, saying, 'Shall we send thee down the gold?' and thou madest answer to us, 'And where be the gold?' we knew thee for the owner of it, and sent it down. Moreover, there is yet another hoard for thee in the land of Al-Yaman, and thou wouldst do well to journey thither and fetch it. And now I would fain have thee set me free, that I may go my way." Said Ali,
By Allah, I will not set thee free. Thou bring me hither to the treasure from the land of Al-Yaman, said the voice, and I'll bring it to thee. Wilt thou release me and eke the servant of the other horde? Yes, replied Ali. And the voice cried, swear to me. So he swore to him, and he was about to go away when Ali said to him, I have one other need to ask of thee. And he answered, what is it? Quoth Ali, I have a wife and children at Cairo in such a place. Thou needs must fetch them to me at their ease and without their unease. Quoth he, I will bring them to thee in a mule litter and much state, with a train of eunuchs and servants, together with the treasure from Al-Yaman, Inshallah. Then he took of him leave of absence for 3 days, when all this should be with him, and vanished. As soon as it was morning, Ali went round about the saloon, seeking a place wherein to store the gold, and saw on the edge of a dais a marble slab with a turning pin. So he turned the pin, and the slab sank, and showed a door, which he opened, and entering found a great closet full of bags, coarse stuff, carefully sewn. So he began taking out the bags, and fell to filling them with gold and storing them in the closet, till he had transported thither all the hoarded gold, whereupon he shut the door, and turning the pin, the slab returned to its place. Then he went down and seated himself on the bench behind the door, and presently there came a knock. So he opened and found the servant's slave, who, seeing him comfortably sitting, returned in haste to his master. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day, and ceased to say her permitted say. Now, when it was the 429th night, she said, it hath reached me, O auspicious king, that when the house owner's slave returned and knocked at the door, Ali, the Cairene, son of the merchant Hassan, opened it to him, and the slave, seeing him comfortably sitting, returned in haste to his master with the good tidings, saying, O my lord, the merchant is lodged in the house inhabited by the jinn, is alive and well, and sitteth on the bench behind the door. Then the merchant rose joyfully and went to the house, taking breakfast with him, and when he saw Ali, he embraced him and kissed him between the eyes, asking, How hath Allah dealt with thee? And Ali answered, Right well. I slept upstairs in the marble saloon. Quoth the merchant, Did aught come to thee, or didst thou see anything? And quoth Ali, No. I recited some little of the sublime Quran, and slept till morning, when I arose and, after making the minor ablution and praying, seated myself on the bench behind the door. Praise be Allah for your safety, exclaimed the merchant, then left him, and presently sent him and many slaves and Mamelukes and handmaidens with household gear. They swept the house from top to bottom and furnished it with magnificent furniture, after which 3 white slaves and 3 black slaves and 4 slave girls remained with him to serve him, while the rest returned to their master's house. Now, when the merchants heard of him, they sent him presents of all manner things of price, even to food and drink and clothes, and took him with them to the market, asking, "Well, when will thy baggage arrive?" And he answered, "After 3 days it will surely come." When the term had elapsed, the servant of the first hoard, the Golden Rain, came to him and said, "Go forth and meet the treasure I have brought thee from Al-Yaman, together with thy harem. For I bring part of the wealth in the semblance of costly merchandise. But the eunuchs and the Mamelukes and the mules and the horses and the camels are all of the Jan." Now, the Jinni, when he betook himself to Cairo, found Ali's wife and children in sore misery, naked and hungry. So he carried them out of the city in a travelling litter and clad them in sumptuous raiments of the stuff which were in the treasure of Al-Yaman. So when Ali heard this, he arose and, repairing to the merchants, said to them, "Rise and go forth with us from the city to meet the caravan bringing my merchandise, and honour us with the presence of your harems, to meet my harem." "Hearkening and obedience," answered they, and sending for their harems, went forth all together and took seat in one of the city gardens. As they sat talking, beheld, a dust cloud rose out of the heart of the desert, and they flocked forth to see what it was. Presently it lifted and discovered mules and muleteers, tent pitchers and linkmen, who came on singing and dancing, till they reached the garden, when the thief of the muleteers walked up to Ali and, kissing his hand, said to him, "O my master, we have been long on the way, for we purposed entering yesterday, but we were in fear of the bandits, so abode in our station 4 days, till Almighty Allah rid us of them." Thereupon the merchants mounted their mules and rode forward with the caravan, the harems waiting behind, till Ali's wife and children mounted with them, and they all entered in splendid train. The merchants marvelled at the number of mules laden with chests, whilst the women of the merchants wondered at the richness of the apparel of his wife and the fine raiment of her children, and kept saying to each other, "Verily, the king of Baghdad have no such gear, no, nor any of the other kings or lords or merchants." So they ceased not to fare forwards in high, great state, the men with Ali of Cairo, and the harems with his harem, till they came to the mansion. And Scheherazade perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. My deepest apologies for my little cough and swallowing down the wrong pipe at the beginning of the reading earlier. It was so sudden. I had to go off camera and cough rather violently. It has been an absolute pleasure, as usual, reading for you this evening. I hope you are all keeping very, very well and very, very safe. Do not forget, I will be reading on Thursday still, and then this coming Saturday we have a very, very special reading. Sman will be back online with us, which is beautiful. We will be wearing beautiful dresses, very generously sponsored to us by the haute couture fashion designer Maurizio Giambra. Beautiful, beautiful dresses. If you've seen any of the previous ones, you'll know how lovely they are. And on top of that, we are going to be blessed with the very beautiful music of Kamiab Sadiri, who this time, instead of being on the tar, is actually going to be singing and playing at the piano. And it's a very beautiful black grand piano in the beautiful presidential suite at the Palais Hanson Kempinski, and we will be celebrating
our 1 year anniversary. A couple of months too late, unfortunately, but we couldn't get round to it in March and April or most of May because of work issues. But now we are finally very happy to be able to be doing this very special anniversary reading for you, because for those of you who don't know, Saman and I started reading 1001 Nights towards the beginning, well, certainly in the first lockdown, which occurred in Austria due to the global pandemic, which we are all still going through, unfortunately. And we were only going to read during the lockdown, but then we decided we had to read longer because it looked like there were going to be more lockdowns coming, and there were lockdowns all over the world for other people that had not been lifted at the time. And we decided to read for them and continue reading. And now we are going to try and read the whole book. Yes, that is 1001 Nights, everybody. And at the moment, we are on the 5th book and the 427th night. So we are not far off, actually, from being halfway through the book. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? A year and a half almost we've been, a year and 2 months now we've been reading. And we're almost halfway through the book, because we don't read just one night a night, otherwise that'd be too short. We'd be on, say hello, and we'd be off again with some of them, because some of them are so short. We do read about 6 pages at least a night, and we do it Tuesday to Friday. And we just have our special reading this Saturday. If you like what you hear and you want us to continue reading and you want to help us continue reading, then please, please, please support us. We are doing this as a gift to mankind. That's what I always keep saying. But we do really need your financial help. And you can sponsor us huge amounts of money, or you can just give us a little donation. And you can do so by paying some money onto our PayPal account, which is www.paypal.me/Vienna Theatre Project. And theatre is written R-E. But you can always find the link to that PayPal account, to make your donations afterwards in the reading, when I type all the information about the reading, tonight's reading, into that reading. So, as you can see, I am fading fast. Good night, everybody. As I said, it has been an absolute pleasure reading for you. See you Thursday, and especially see you Saturday, where we'll have some special treats and lovely music. And Saman, hurrah! After a month's absence, will be back to join us. Many blessings from me to you. Stay safe. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.